No, but first let's go to David Schuster.
Oh, Schuster.
I think David can
I
tell
don't think
us.
I've seen Schuster in a while. Hey, what have you been doing?
Where's he been?
What happened?
Where have you been?
Have we made you feel uncomfortable
Schuster,
enough,
thanks
David?
a lot.
Sorry, no, I don't feel uncomfortable in the least.
Okay. Well, David, I'm glad you could take time out of your busy schedule to finally come on our show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
big for Morning Joe.
Hillary Clinton. Why?
Well, I'm just
Okay, so today,
interesting that you would
the
do
big
that.
question today is about Hillary Clinton is, what does she have to do to stay in this race? Does she have to win Texas? Does she have to win Texas and Ohio? Does she have to sweep all 4 states? What's your feeling?
Well, my sense is that the pressure is going to be so enormous on Hillary Clinton to get out if she does not win both Ohio and Texas. I mean, whether it's Bill Clinton's statements from last week saying that she had to win Texas, whether it's Bill Richardson the other night saying whoever's ahead in the delegate count tonight ought to be the nominee, whether it's Ed Rendell from Pennsylvania. I mean, you can just go on and on with the number of Democrats prominent who have said that she has to win both. So I'm not quite sure how easy it is for her to stay in the race if she just wins Ohio. But on the other hand, look, I wouldn't put it past the Clintons to say Ohio was so important to the Democrats and so important to the election that how can you turn your back on a victory in Ohio if that's what she gets?
Well, any feeling on which way the momentum's going? I've been talking this morning about how Barack Obama has been outspending her 4-to-1. You have 4 ads up in a lot of these areas for every of Obama's for every 1 ad of Hillary Clinton, but she's still staying close. Is there a sense that there may be some voters breaking her way?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end it's always hard, in part because of these controversies over Obama and NAFTA and whatnot, but I would say that at least until 24 hours ago, I mean, Obama was cutting into the lead. I mean, keep in mind that Hillary Clinton in Ohio and Texas, for that matter, she was up by double digits a couple of weeks ago. Now Obama appears to be up in Texas, and maybe the lead in Ohio for Hillary Clinton is maybe 4 or 5 points, which, as you know, closing in on an election when the momentum is moving in somebody's favor to narrow that lead, it tends to keep narrowing. Having said that, I really do think that Obama got hurt in a very bad way over this whole controversy over NAFTA. I don't think most residents in Ohio or Texas really sort of follow the details of what was it that his economic advisor was saying to the Canadians.
The bigger point is this, David, that after Tuesday's results, neither Hillary Clinton nor Barack Obama are going to have the delegates required to win in Denver. The superdelegates are going to be making that decision, and when you're talking to superdelegates, it's all about perspective. And if they can say, and if I were running Hillary Clinton's campaign, if I were twisting arms at the convention, I would say, look how Barack Obama's won. Yes, maybe he made some strategic decisions during the campaign that eclipsed us on the delegate counts. Maybe he understood about the importance of caucuses in Kansas. Well, but when you look at the big states, when you look at California, when you look at New York, when you look at Ohio, when you look at Michigan, when you look at Florida, we showed we know how to win big-time politics. This is not grassroots. This ain't the Iowa caucuses. This isn't the Kansas caucuses.
But, Joe, I want to try to pin you down. I want to pin you down here. I want to pin you down, and that is, would you agree that whoever wins the popular vote at the end of this process, that's where the superdelegates can go? Because I'm sure you can appreciate a situation whereby, suppose it's clear, suppose it's the 600,000 vote margin that Obama has right now. What happens to the African-American vote if they look up and they see superdelegates reversing the popular vote and a bunch of party insiders instead of primary voters makes this decision? You know, David, it would be different if Barack Obama won by 10% of the delegates and the popular vote. But by the end, there's probably going to be 2 percentage points separating Barack Obama from Hillary Clinton. So I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference. And if the Democratic Party wanted to say that the superdelegates had to follow the person that had the most elected delegates or the highest popular vote, then they should have put that in the rules. It's up to every superdelegate to look at their own district, the overall popular vote, the overall delegate count, but most importantly, which Democrat do they think will be vetted and will be ready and will have what it takes to withstand a long, tough general election campaign against what Democrats would call the Republican attack machine. You know, Barack Obama, if I were a superdelegate, I would be inspired by Barack Obama, but I would be concerned. I'd wonder if he really had what it took
to beat John McCain. Again, he's had 3 chances to get rid of Hillary Clinton. New Hampshire, Super Tuesday, and then in Ohio and Texas,
in reverse,
and he failed every time.
You could make the argument in reverse that Hillary Clinton has had all these chances to somehow beat Barack Obama, and she's lost states like Georgia and Missouri and lost 11 in a row. I mean, the argument goes both ways.
No,
and I think the point is...
No, it doesn't. Hillary Clinton, Mika, wouldn't you agree? Hillary Clinton proves that she can get knocked down, and she gets up every time.
Well, it's also an issue where, I mean, Hillary Clinton, sure, she's been vetted, but there are a lot of questions that have not been answered. I mean, chief among them, what about these tax returns? How come they're not releasing them until the middle of April? What, you know, where did this $5 million infusion of cash that she got, where did it come from? And the other thing is, well, you know, somebody who covered the Whitewater scandal for many years, there are a lot of questions that myself and other reporters still have about the final report of the independent counsel on the travel office firings. What exactly did Hillary testify to in the grand jury? What happened with those billing records? And I'm just not sure it helps the Democratic Party or helps the Hillary Clinton campaign to allow the Obama campaign or reporters to go there.
So, David, my only point is, it's a lot easier to say things out on the campaign trail than it is when you actually have to sit there and vote.
It's true, but I mean, think of the context, though. I mean, this is the context. Barack Obama is getting 10 to 15,000 people at every rally, and for Hillary Clinton to just sort of dismiss it as, oh, well, he just gave a speech. That's all. That's his entire position against Iraq. I mean, I think it ignores reality, and again, it gets to, I think, the fundamental problem that the Clinton campaign has, and that they are not grounded necessarily in the reality of what is going on with Barack Obama, and whether it's Hillary Clinton's sort of flippant remark about, oh, it was just a speech, or whether it was a comment to 60 Minutes where she was asked about Barack Obama and whether she knows that he's a Muslim. She says, no, not as far as I know, with that qualifier. I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't know that she said it that way. I mean, I heard that, and we had this discussion on Hardball last night. It sounded like she pretty much knocked it down, and then Steve Croft came back
and made her feel
and kept at. Well, let me ask you this question, David Schuster. Do you think Mika Brzezinski's a Christian? She says she is. Is she a Christian?
Yeah, I believe she is, but, you know, here's the point, Joe. Wait a second.
Hold on a second. You say you believe she's a Christian. You believe. What does that mean? Either she is or she isn't. Is she a Christian or not?
Well, look, you know, Mika and I have never actually had that conversation, and I've never really heard anybody have a convetion about her religion.
But Mika Brzezinski says she is a Christian, so you're saying you don't know whether she's a Christian or not.
Well, that's fine. You know, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to say as far as I know.
So now you're saying it doesn't matter if she... My point was this, Dave. My point was this, David.
Do I not matter to you, David?
No, yeah, exactly. My point was this, David. You can ask anybody a question 3 times, and if you keep going after it, it's like a cross-examination, and it makes that person look a lot worse than they really are.
Yeah, but Joe, but if you take it in isolation, it's more than that. When Hillary Clinton's campaign is out there sending emails saying, oh, Barack Obama may testify in the Resco trial. Wait a second. Bill Clinton testified in the McDougal-Whitewater trial. Do you want to talk about Travelgate? Do you want to talk about unusual real estate deals? I mean, for the Clinton campaign to jump on Obama this way is really bizarre.
David, there appears to be growing confidence in the Clinton campaign when you have, of course, this morning, Terry McAuliffe coming on our show saying that Hillary Clinton was going to win Ohio, Texas, Rhode Island, and seems like they're pretty excited. Yeah, what's going on out there?
Well, look, I mean, I think going into Election Day, you want your voters excited and energized and thinking that they're going to be part of something victorious. So I don't think it's a big surprise that they're expressing their confidence or optimism or trying to get their forces riled up. I will say that I'm very, very surprised. I mean, Howard Wolfson, he's a bright guy. He billed, what, $270,000 for the month of January alone, and yet there he was mentioning Tony Resco 3 times during that interview, talking about Barack Obama's relationship with an indicted political figure. I mean, maybe he's just counting on sort of the collective amnesia of the media, but Joe, you remember Susan McDougal, Jim McDougal, Webster Hubbell, Vince Foster, Billy Dale. I mean, you could go on and on and on with the sort of the controversies over Hillary Clinton. And I mean, every time you hear them try to make an issue out of Barack Obama's ethics about his relationship, about sort of a strange land deal, you just think, wait a second. The Clintons' business partners were indicted and convicted. Bill Clinton testified in those trials. What is it that they're trying to argue?
And Mika even called Hillary's ad fear-mongering. Do you think Democrats respond to fear-mongering just like we Republicans?
I think they do. I agree with Mika that it was fear-mongering, and I'm not sure it does help the Democratic Party after criticizing the Republican tactics to put up this kind of ad. And by the way, I think, the phone rang 7 times and nobody picked it up. But no, Joe, I mean, I think you're right. I think the ad was effective. But, you know, do you want your politics to be about fear?
But on the bigger point, there seems to me, if you are in a city, let's say, that is racked with record-high crime and people are getting murdered and raped and robbed, it seems to me that it's not fear-mongering for somebody to run for mayor saying, I'm going to make your streets safer. What's wrong with Hillary Clinton saying, we live in a dangerous world. We want to make sure the person that picks up the phone has the experience to take care of the situation.
Because
That's
the problem, Joe, is that it reminds everybody that it was Hillary Clinton's judgment that, yes, she should vote to support the war in Iraq. And the other problem that I see with this is that when you look at Barack Obama, he's the guy who seems to come across as sort of cool and detached and sort of has everything together. Hillary Clinton, perhaps, a little bit more sort of strong and reactionary. And when you think about a phone call in the middle of the night, which sort of personality do you want?
Well,
and I don't think that benefits
you. I can hear David. I know what David's saying.
I'm just making sure.
And what David is saying is that we don't want our candidates to tell the truth about how dangerous this world is.
Joe, I'll speak for myself.
Oh, man.
Okay?
Now, because Mika, what David was actually saying was...